From Lagos, Nigeria's financial capital, this is a special edition of Arise Exchange. This is a holiday Monday. I am Bosun Omofaye. Welcome to the show. The plan by the Nigerian authorities to introduce a new business tax to fund the National Youth Service Corps, or NYSC, is already meeting up with resistance from professionals in the tax industry. Some say the new NYSC tax is counterproductive, as there is little or nothing to show for the various existing taxes that businesses in Nigeria pay for similar initiatives for education, the police, science and technology, healthcare, and more. Taiwo Oyedele is the fiscal policy partner and Africa tax leader at PwC, a global advisory services company with extensive operations here in Nigeria. Oyedele joins me now to discuss the burdens of multiple taxes on Nigeria's businesses, in particular those designed towards sectoral interventions. A good evening to you, sir, and thanks for coming on the show despite the public holiday.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Clarify for me, let's get started. Clarify for me the difference between corporate tax and business tax in Nigeria's environment.
Yeah, so, depending on your registration with the Corporate Affairs Commission, which is the company's registrar in Nigeria, you may likely register as a company to be able to do business, and that makes you a corporate entity. And therefore, the taxes you need to pay are broadly described as corporate taxes. That would include, in Nigeria, companies' income tax. It would include tertiary education tax and a host of other taxes. Whereas business taxes are more broad in terms of they apply to you whether you register as a corporate person, or a corporate entity, or one-man business, or a partnership, or an enterprise. So, for example, you find that many businesses that are not even cannot be described as corporate have to pay personal income taxes by the owners of those businesses and all forms of levies and taxes. But I'll say, to just simplify, I'll say maybe it's semantics. At the end of the day, you will find that all corporate taxes are business taxes, but not all business taxes are corporate taxes.
So which one would you consider as really burdensome, what you can call a noose on the neck of businesses in Nigeria? When you talk about whether it's corporate tax, you pay corporate income tax, which is a CIT, that's what you pay. But when you talk about other taxes and levies in doing business, why is it such very tight one here? Why is it a burden in a manner of speaking?
Yeah, so it's a burden because on one hand, whether you call them corporate taxes, whether they are business taxes, whether they are income taxes, whether they are consumption taxes, whether they are business levies, it doesn't even matter what you call them. It's hard and painful on one hand because there's so many of those taxes that you have to pay. And taxes are how you pay part of your prosperity to government. So if you are struggling to at least even stay afloat, it's difficult to continue to pay taxes. It's also painful because you have multiple agencies trying to collect those taxes and levies, which not only increase the cost of collection, it actually makes the people pay more while government is collecting less. And the third aspect to why it is painful is because, the understanding under the social contract is that you pay your taxes so that government can use the proceeds to take care of the people and businesses. But if you then have to, in addition to paying the taxes, you have to provide for yourself what government should have provided. It makes it extremely painful. Added to that is the fact that there's no trust in the system because even the little that we pay, you find that sometimes it's stolen by politicians or they apply them in terms of wrong priorities, not what the people need, but what the politicians want. Add all of this together, I don't think you find any other environment where it's more difficult to pay tax than it is in Nigeria.
Okay. So Taiwo, let's go a little bit specific. to taxes or levies relating to initiatives of the government. For example, we have what you call the education a tax, for example, which you say, well, this is to support education in Nigeria. We have what you call the petroleum industry tax. You have tax for the police and levy. You say levy companies, 1%, whatever percentage of their profit goes to support the police or whatever. Now the government is looking at another one to fund the National Youth Service scheme, or the NYSC. What's your take on it? Is it different from any other of such taxes or levies that the government have imposed on corporate organizations in Nigeria?
Yeah, I think if someone has a problem and they haven't diagnosed the problem correctly, chances are that they are going to be prescribing the wrong medication and the wrong drugs. And in fact, rather than ease the pain, they are likely to complicate it even further. That analogy, in my view, applies almost 100% to the situation we have in Nigeria. We tend to think, and we in this context is really politicians, tend to think that the solutions to our problems is if only we can find more money. In 1993, government decided to earmark a tax, a specific one, for education. Of course, nobody is going to get into the debate as to whether education is important or not. There's no point having that debate. It's universally true that education is important. So politicians will ride on the back of that and say, why? How about we introduce a special tax? The tertiary education tax at some point was renamed and was increased from 2% of accessible profit to recently 2.5%. Now, from 1993 to 2022, almost, that's almost 30 years, after it was introduced. Education has not even developed. In fact, we are at a level today that is worse than we were in 1993. We know now that lecturers are on strike. It has become a very frequent occurrence in Nigeria, and the quality of education is falling by the day. And many other countries, even in Africa, take South Africa, for example, where they don't have an earmarked tax for education, are doing better. So in Nigeria, you have education tax. You also have now, educational institution recently under the Finance Act 2021, and now to start paying corporate income tax. In addition to that, you have taxes including VAT you pay related to education. Only tuition is exempted from VAT. Other things you have to pay. So the list of taxes for education is long. On top of that, you have governments, coming up with, if they think that we need, to fund the police tax. If they think we need to fund, tertiary healthcare tax. If they think we need industrial training levy. If they think that we need to promote local content levy. And the list goes on and on. Now it's NYSC. We can't continue like that. The essence of the corporate income tax that companies pay and that individuals pay, as well as consumption tax like VAT, is so that the government can pull the resources together and apply them in a way that benefits society, including providing for security, including funding any form of schemes that they consider appropriate. We cannot afford to keep introducing new taxes to address new problems or existing problems in a new way. This has not led us anywhere. As of today, we have officially over 60 different taxes collected by federal government, state government, and local government in Nigeria. Yet, our tax to GDP ratio is barely 6%. Whereas in South Africa, from less than 10 taxes last year, just the fiscal year ended March, this year 2022, they've collected over 45 trillion naira. In fact, the amount of taxes collected from personal income tax alone in South Africa is more than the entire federally collected revenue in Nigeria across all levels of government from over 60 different taxes. We cannot continue to do things the same way and expect a different result, or continue to apply the mindset that led us into the problems we have, and hope that magically it will also solve the problem. We need to think differently.
We need to think differently. So what do we really need? Do we need more taxes to resolve our problems, whether it's education, the police, the soldier, whatever, the army, the insecurity, healthcare, road, water, electricity? Or we need to attract local domestic capital and foreign capital? Which one is the easiest road? The Ministry of Finance, Zainab Ahmed has been talking about, yes, we have the Finance Act of the last 2 or 3 years. We hope that will work. Where are we on all these initiatives all put together? Put them in a basket for me, Taiwo, and jig it together. Where is the way out here to resolve these issues without tightening and killing the business sector, as it were?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, on one hand, the reality is that we need more money as a government, as a people. We need more money. There's no doubt about that. Nigerians, social spending, public spending as a ratio of GDP is one of the lowest in the world. I think it's fairly just, above Haiti and Venezuela. We certainly need more. But is the way to raise more revenue, is it by introducing new taxes? The answer is certainly no. Is it by increasing the rate of existing taxes? The answer is certainly no. The answer to it is, first and foremost, we have to demonstrate accountability. We have to demonstrate responsible management. We have to build trust with the little we are collecting. That we are not seeing. All the earmark taxes that we're talking about as of today, you don't even get reports. Go to any of their websites, there's no report as to what they have done. Once these agencies have been established and money starts flowing in, you see them awarding contracts, going for foreign trips, and the wasteful spending just continues almost endlessly. So what government needs to do is to, first and foremost, demonstrate accountability with the little we are getting now. And then you try and promote a conducive environment, like you said, both domestic investment, foreign investment. There can be no development without investment. The more investment you can attract, the better your ability to grow and develop as an economy. The more you develop, the bigger your tax base. The bigger your tax base, even by reducing your corporate tax rate, the more revenue you can generate. We have seen in the OECD countries, over the past 20 years, their corporate income tax rates have gone down significantly. Yet their tax collection as a percentage of GDP has increased. In fact, from a fiscal policy perspective, when you reduce corporate income tax rates, you attract more investment and more companies would come. And when they come, they bring people with them, they empower them, they pay them salaries, and they can consume and pay personal income tax. And whatever you lose in corporate income tax, you actually compensate for it a lot more in consumption and personal income taxes. So Nigeria needs to find a strategy that looks at everything holistically, but with an underlying principle that we have to, first and foremost, make the environment conducive for businesses and individuals so they can pay taxes. And when those taxes have been paid, they must be applied for the benefit of the people so that we can build trust and have a sustainable system.
Quite an interesting and revealing conversation with you, Taiwo Oyedele, Fiscal Policy Partner and Africa Tax Leader at PwC. Do have a wonderful evening and see you next time.